As some of you know, I owned and ran a cosmetic clinic for 12 years. I often had people try and barter the price down. I'll tell you why trying to find the cheapest Botox you can might cost you more than you bargained for. I'm Dr. Renee. I'm a practicing doctor, a medical writer and a broadcaster. With the popularisation of cosmetic interventions over the last couple of decades, more and more people have started having them, which is great. They've become more affordable. But alongside this, more and more people have decided to try to make money from administering them. And to be frank, there is very little legal protection for you, the patient. When I had my clinic, when people asked me why I was more expensive than the beautician their friend used, I always replied with the same answer. Because you are buying my medical expertise and I use the best products available, and you know that I can and will handle complications and I won't expose you to unnecessary risk. I wasn't surprised, therefore, to read an horrific story this week about a beautician called Gemma Gray, operating from Bracknell, who left one woman fighting for her life and several others seriously ill in hospital after injecting them with Toxpia, an illegal Botox-type anti-wrinkle treatment. Kaylee Bailey, a 36-year-old mum of 3 from Peterlee, County Durham, paid Gemma Gray just £75 for 3 Botox injections. The bargain turned out to be too good to be true, and she nearly lost her life. Kaylee contracted botulism from an unlicensed, cheap Botox import used by Gemma Gray, presumably so that she could make as much money as possible from the aesthetic procedures she was offering. Doctors were initially baffled and diagnosed Kaylee with ptosis and told her to go home to rest. Little did they know that Kaylee had botulism, a very rare condition not seen by the majority of doctors at any time during their careers. They also didn't know that Kaylee at that point was one of 28 other people to have been diagnosed with the toxic poisoning in northeast England after having these anti-wrinkle jabs. Kaylee stopped breathing. She required resuscitation and spent 3 days on intensive care. She was treated with an antitoxin but still wears an eye patch whilst her eye heals. When Kaylee contacted Gemma Gray after her release to discuss the problem, she was told that it was a nationwide problem with the product. And this is not a surprise to me. I often saw patients who had complications, some serious, from beautician practitioners who couldn't deal with the complications. I once saw a woman with a blood vessel blocked in her lip with filler that needed the prescription-only reversal medication, and the beautician had told her to try antihistamines because she couldn't prescribe. Another few hours and she would have lost a major proportion of her lip. Why am I telling you this? It's simple, really. Running a proper clinic with the correct and constant training, high quality legal products, insurance and medical training to recognise and deal with complications is costly, and it's reasonable to assume that if it's very cheap, those things are not being done at that clinic. Your health is priceless, guys. Don't skimp. I'm going to link the story for you in story so you can read it for yourself, but trust me, I saw many stories like this, not quite as serious, but serious.